Guys, Dale Walker at Whole Shot Performance, retired. Well, I got the ECU back for the Honda Hornet, but my brand new GSX-8S, the naked one, 26 models on the dyno. So I'm going to continue with it. I got the ECU also sent off to Nate at Two-Wheel Tuners, and we'll do this bike first. So what I thought I'd do is do a video on a complete full system install. Okay, I don't really see that on the internet, and when I do see it, it seems like everybody takes the radiator clear off, drains the radiator fluid, and of course then you gotta, refill, burp it, start it up, burp it. And I was looking at the bike, and I'm going to see if I can do it with the radiator still on. I kind of looked at it, and I think I can pull it away enough and kind of tip it, the front left edge forward a little bit and tie it off somehow. But that'd be a heck of a lot easier for you if you can do it that way than going that extra step. But we'll find out. But anyway, in front of me is a brand new Black Widow full system from the UK. I'm sure it's made in Asia. I've installed about 5 of these on my own bikes, and the fit and finish is really nice. They used to be more brushed, now they're a little smoother, so they'll be easier to keep polished up. But let me just show you some of the welding here. It's all beautiful tigged. Okay, gorgeous. That's hand tigged. I think this is too, probably on a rotator. And look at the collector. It's absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Nice, huh? Okay. It's got 2 O2s, so maybe in another country they're in 2. I don't think this bike has 2. Could be wrong, but looking at it, there's only one on the right-hand side, and that's going to be going in here. So I'll probably put the O2 in it, but you want to unplug it when you reflash this, and you also want to plug the pair valve hose, the smog valve hose from the air box to the smog valve. So that I'll have to pull the tank up. But this is going to be about the header install. And here's the primary tubes. Here, hon, come and look at those. They mark them 1 and 1, 1 and 1. And, okay, and then here's the other one. Now, you know that a couple of the real expensive headers, they also have a crossover tube. That does help a little bit, maybe 1 horsepower or something somewhere, 1.5 horsepower. But this header is beautiful, and for the money, this cost me, it was like $450 in US dollars, and the tariff was $106 from UPS. So it was $560 to my door from the UK. Here's the muffler I chose, and the reason I got this one, this is a 300 millimeter long. That's their muffler. It's a titanium look stainless coating on here, and it's got a removable baffle. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of dark. That's okay. This is a removable DB killer, and I'll probably drill the front end out and maybe add a couple little holes, but we'll do testing with and without. And what's nice about this sticker will peel off, and you can very carefully clean off the glue, and it looks just bitchin'. It looks like a titanium. Full carbon tip. And the reason I like this one is I already have this on my V-Strom DL800, this exact muffler. And I like the sound, I like the looks, and I didn't want a shorty, be way too loud. They make a real nice one. It's your personal preference with the angled end carbon with the black muffler. But I like this one. Once you take the sticker off, when you're driving along, it almost looks like factory, So it all comes into play. But that's the one I chose. And then here's some of the hardware. You got the nice springs to hold the tubes onto the collector, okay, with the cover. This is nice hardware. This is to go to the muffler band clamp. They got a nice rubber insulator, okay, shaped like the muffler. And then this is a pretty darn nice barrel clamp that's just going to go right here. And what I want to show you here is here's the mid pipe, that's the bottom. Here's where the muffler goes on. And I haven't touched this or had to massage it or anything. Look at that fit. That's perfect, real nice. So they did a nice job. It's all deburred inside, and for the money, it's fantastic. And this looks like this is probably the hanger on the right-hand side where the stock muffler's gonna come off, probably to hang this, like this or something. We'll find out. There's no instruction sheet with it, but I think they have that on their website. Oh, it also comes with 2 brand new exhaust gaskets, and you always want to do that. Here, hon.
There's no instruction?
No. My wife is talking. There's no instructions. But they have it on their website. You can look at pictures. So, anyway, yeah, I'll probably, there's one plug. This, I'm sure, is probably where you can take the stock heat shield off and put this on. We'll find out once we get that far. But anyway, that's the intro. So I'll get the camera set up and some decent lighting if I can try. And first step one is I already got the radiator loose. And let's see if we can pull it forward enough. And then I'll show you in there about getting to the header pipe bolts. And I'm pretty sure you can do it with the right tools. But we'll find out. May have to take it all apart, drain the coolant. Who knows? So let's get started on step one. All right, guys. So here's your top bolt hole for the radiator on the right hand side. The bottom one's right here. All the bolts are the same length with a black washer made on them. Look like this. Okay, set those aside. Let me show you the other side now. Just nothing special. I got some heavy duty nylon ties, long and normal length, 7 maybe 12-inch ones. So what I did, the other side, the hose is so short, there's no wiggle room. This side, this long hose comes and makes a 90 here, and you're able to kind of stretch it a little bit, and I put 2 ties together because one wasn't long enough, one long, one short, and I was able to weasel this and pull it up and forward. So if you put it around the lower fork tube leg clamp, it's not going to slide down. It's holding it up a little bit. But I got my light on. I hope you can see in there. But it's got that much clearance right here. I can get my whole hand in there. See that? So I believe, and we're getting into the radius, and that way you don't have to unplug the fan. You don't have to drain the coolant. We'll see if I eat my words, but I think it's going to slide out and drop down. And you can see right there, those are, what are those? Those are 8mm bolts with 6mm Allen heads. So what I suggest doing is breaking loose the mounts. Here's the rubber mount on the left side to the big muffler. Okay, this is also a 6mm Allen head, 8mm bolt. Break those loose so you're loose. You back it out about a turn. Okay. And then on the other side, go back around. The other side you have, let me grab my light, little light. Yeah, the other side you have this metal bracket with the rubber bushing in it right there, see, but on the bottom. So again, the bottom one here, 8mm bolt, 6mm Allen, 12mm bolt for the whole bracket. So I've already broken these loose. Just break these loose. Get them backed off a little bit. That way you're not fighting the battle once you get the front undone. And it's not going to fall off, okay? You may want a friend to help you and hold on to it or something. So, before I even attempt the header removal yet, we're going to take this little bracket off here that protects the O2 sensor. Okay, we're going to take the shield off. These 4, yeah, probably these 4 or these 2. Get the shield off and off this pipe. Okay, and then you're gonna snip. What's nice is this little hole here. You're gonna snip this nylon tie. Be careful of the wire. And we are going to come up here, and it's the smooth one. The one with this shielding on it, I believe, is the oil pressure sensor light. Okay, the smooth shield comes on up, and here is your plug for the O2. So for now we're going to unplug that, and we're going to take the wire loose, the guards off, And then with the wire loose, we can go ahead and try to get this out with the header on the bike, okay? So I'm going to do that first, and let me get the shields off, and then we'll see how we do it, but that's what we're going to do up there. Because you got to remember, the O2 is unplugged when you do a full system on the 8S, 8R, the new TS, you know, the new Naquads, they're all the same. So to remove the heat shield, just take the bottom two rounded head Allen bolts out. All these four bolts are 4mm Allen. And of course, in my case, Suzuki over tightened one. It was already all stripped out and screwed up. Can you see it? And it was bound up in there. I had to beat on the bolt. If that happens, get a small ball peen hammer and hit the bolt, and then drive your Allen bit into the bolt. And then I took the top one off and I sprayed some WD-40 because it was all bound up. The threads weren't stripped, it was just Loctite and way over tight, and they already wrecked the head from the factory. Okay, so moving up here, you got this. I have the wire coming off already on the O2 sensor, but right here, there's a holder right in there, and you can get a screwdriver in between it. Oh, dang it. Here I go again, trying to do this by myself. Yeah, you see that tab right there? That pops under there. You get a screwdriver in between it and pry it with a medium-sized screwdriver, and it'll pop apart so you don't wreck it. Okay, then you can unplug it by pressing down. This goes in the plug, and what you can do is you press down on this tab to release that from there. You got to push really hard. Hold the plug with your other hand. See it right there? And it will pull apart. Then you can weasel it all down, and here it's in front of you. Okay, now, hopefully you can see this. Light enough? Yeah, it's light enough, kind of, right there. Okay, this is 17mm. Because it's new, usually they aren't super tight. So use a good quality, not worn out 17mm open end. And get it on the O2, it'll break loose. Now, if it won't break loose, don't round it off and ruin it, okay? If it doesn't break loose and you're having a problem and you're going to screw it up, then go to an auto parts store and buy a line wrench. This is American, which is 11/16. It's sloppy, but this is an example. That way you can put it over here and you get all 6 corners of the head. See? That's sloppy. I'm just giving you an example. You would want to get a metric set, and that would be 17mm, just like the wrench. So let's go ahead and take the O2 out completely, and just be careful with it. We're not going to use it, but you don't want to wreck it. We're going to probably put it in if there's not another O2 on this thing, which I don't think there is. They have 2 on the header, so we'll find out once I get it pulled apart, but I don't see another wire anywhere. They must have another one, maybe 2 of them in other countries or something. I'm not sure. Okay guys, so I got about a 6-inch extension, and this, I have tons of different small extensions with a ball. This one has a slight, see, ball end. You want a short, this is just a Craftsman, short 6mm, make sure it's in perfect shape. So I just tested this with this in this position, and this one's going to be enough angle to get this left header bolt out and come right in above the crossover tube and the bottom one of this flange. So let's take these 2 out. This top one's going to be more of a problem, but let me figure that out in a second. I already broke it loose. Okay, this one at least. Let's get it out of there. It's nice. Brand new bike, they're not going to be boogered up. Man, you got to be careful. It's going right into the aluminum. Okay, there's the one. Let's get the lower one out. Let me see, like I said, I'm going right above the crossover tube. Hon, maybe you can get in here.
Wait a minute, I can't see.
Can you get over there, walk around? Oh, manipulating things.
Oh, right there.
See it right there? If I had my other light, but I don't. Sorry, we're not going to take a break on this. Oh. Hell of a lot easier than a 4-cylinder, I can tell you that much. Let's just get this bolt clear out. Okay, out of the flange, got them sit down. Okay, now let me go. I know I can do the same method on the bottom one, but let me figure out what we're going to do for the top one right in there on the other cylinder. I'll be right back. All right, guys, so on this one, it will barely fit in there, but with the same short 6mm Allen, and then a universal joint, which I don't really like using these, but in this case, you got to use it. It's hitting on the shield. What we're going to do is we're going to break it loose. Make sure when you put it in, you wiggle it around, tap on it a little bit, and get it fully seated in the head of the bolt. Okay, you don't want to round that sucker off. So let's go ahead and just, yeah, we broke it loose, so we're doing good. And if you look in here, over here, honey, on this side, can you see there? It's against the little shield for the bottom of the fan, okay? So what we're going to do is we don't want to probably, yeah, it's working okay, but you're going to have to get this thing out of there, okay? So let me get to that point, and I'll pull it out, and then we'll use a ball-end T-handle or a longer one, okay? Just hang on 1 second. Okay, guys, once you break it loose, only go about a turn, because you're going to run out of room against the little fan shroud. Then what I did, because it's at an angle a little bit, is I went in with these long needle nose, put it against the socket, wiggled it, pulled it out of the bolt. It's broke loose. So now we're going to try just my little ball end. These are just Harbor Freight 6mm. And this one's already broke loose, and it does reach it. And look at that. Okay? So, get this one clear out. Right? Use my needle nose. Drop it under the dyno wheel. Okay, got that bolt out. Now the other one has zero load on it. So you can't see this, but right underneath the tube, it's right visible. And boom, it's already loose because the other one's completely released. So, bitchin', huh? All right, so we're going to get this one out of here. I got my wife Liza doing the professional taping today, recording. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. I got the Allen bit right here, and I already broke this one loose. So we're going to take, I even cut my finger. If you're not bleeding, you're not working. Okay, here. Let's take this one out. Get that out of the way. Once it's broke loose, you can use the whatever you want, T-handle, ball end, doesn't matter as long as it's free, okay? Good, it's already fallen down. Okay, so now we'll go to the other side, and what you could do if you're by yourself is you could put some blocks of wood under here and by yourself, and you could get it pulled out of the cylinder then and down. Okay, here I am on the floor. Anyway, so now we're going to do the other side's unbolted. This one's broke loose here, this bracket, but I'm going to take the bolt off here with the bracket still bolted to the pipe, okay? Otherwise, you're going to drop it down, this thing's going to be in the way from getting the pipe out. So I'm going to unbolt it here. I got a 4x6 on the bottom and then a 2x4. I got about an inch of gap. We'll see if that's enough to slide it forward and drop it down and then get it out. And again, if you have a helper, of course I got my dyno strap here, but we should be able to weasel it out of there. Anyway, the main thing is, will it clear the fan shroud shield here and drop down and out? I think it's going to. It's only got to come out of the ports maybe 3/4 of an inch. I don't know. We'll find out if it works or not right now. So I'm going to kind of hold it in the ports. You're going to want to come up in the front on a second here. Hold up on it a little bit. The bolt's fine. Not hurting it. Okay. There it is. It dropped right out. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is weasel out. You remember, if you had a helper, you wouldn't have to do anything. Okay. And look at that. There's your header off with the radiator still on. That is a win-win. No mess, no fuss, no having to refill the whole system, no having to start it up, burp the system. And I always try to do these kind of things. People say, well, that's a lot easier if you just take it off. Well, no, it's not. And it didn't hurt a damn thing. See these? These are only engaged a 1/4 inch. Here's where the line is, where the flange was. So they only got to pull out of the port half that flange, and they're out of the port. Awesome. Okay, the next step I'm going to do is we're going to get the get a pick, like a little scribe, and pull out the stock exhaust gaskets. That's the next step. Okay, guys, a simple little tip. This is the original Allen bolt and the factory washer, the rubber grommet, and there's a metal sleeve in here. So instead of taking out that rubber grommet and have a giant open hole that looks stupid, just get a 8x125 pitch nylock nut, put it on the back, put it back in and snug it down. It looks factory. You won't even know, okay, what that's for. Okay, before I go any further, let's take this thing, the lead sled here, over to my digital weighing scale. Let's see what this thing weighs. All right, here's our digital scale. Get a balance on here pretty good, actually. Hang on. Make sure nothing's touching. And here you go. 17.4 pounds, that puppy.
Can you see it?
I can see it.
I don't know if I can see it.
Zoom in, hon. Yeah, that's 17.4 pounds. Okay, here's all the header tubes and the hardware. Not the muffler yet, because it'll fall off. And that is 5.4 pounds. Okay, 5.4. Okay, here's the muffler and the clamps. And that is exactly 5.4 again. When would you ever get an even number? So it's at 10.8, 17.4 or 5 minus 10.8. It's between 6.6 to 7 pounds between. Yeah, it's a little under 7 pounds lighter. Morning, guys. This is the next day. My buddy Kurt's gonna film for me. Try. It's hard to see in there no matter what we do, isn't it? Anyway, so I got looking real close. I was gonna pry the exhaust gaskets out, the copper rings. They have a little lip on them from compression of the stock pipe, but they're in perfect shape. And a little one flaw I just found. Now these gaskets are smaller in diameter. They'll still fit the tube fine, but these are smaller in diameter, on the outside diameter, than the head. So these are going to go on there, and unless you glued them on overnight and had them perfect, they could slide over and have a gap and have an exhaust leak. So I don't think I'm going to use the ones that come with it. So if you got the pipe on order, my advice would be to order 2 brand new factory Suzuki exhaust gaskets. Okay. For me now, I'm going to take the chance. We used to sell, I still have some in stock, but we sell this Valco black high temp silicone at 600 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a very light coat, just a little teeny dab with my finger on the surface where it's going to hit the gasket, and I'll put a teeny bit, just a tiny bit, on the gasket itself. Okay. More is not better with that. It's just going to squish out and make an ugly mess. So that's what I'm going to do. So what else can I tell you? Before you start assembling the pipe, it's numbered. Number 1, if they numbered it correctly, your collector goes on this way. This is the front, okay, with the O2 sticking out. The other O2 hole I'm going to plug up with their plug, and I'm going to put blue Loctite on it and snug it. Okay, but what you want to do is take your number 1 and number 1 and just try fitting it in there. Okay, and if it has a little burr on the end, this tube, it still went in, but it was a little snugger than I liked. So I took it over on my deburr wheel, on my grinder. I have a 3M deburr wheel, and just ran it around the edge and kind of just barely knocked the edge off a little. Okay, just check all your fits, because that way you're not fighting the battle. This is so much easier than the 4-cylinder, because what we can do is we can put number 2 on first, the one on the right-hand side, because remember the radiator's at an angle now, and that side's a little tighter, but you can get to the bolts fine. So that way I can see what I'm doing. Put number 2 on first, and what we're going to do is we're going to lightly snug the bolts. And on the factory exhaust bolts, they're 8mm. To me that looks like about an 8 by 30mm long, but they're 8mm with the 6mm Allen, like I told you, taking it off. You're going to use a little bit of anti-seize on the threads, okay? Don't worry, that's not going to come loose, but it will prevent it forever from locking itself to the aluminum on the head. Okay, these are probably stainless, they look like it. So yeah, I'm going to use a little anti-seize on the threads, and we'll talk more about the finishing thing when I get that far, because you're going to want to put the engine through a heat cycle, and then probably take the radiator bolts loose again, you know, just the bolts, pull it forward like I got with the nylon tie, so you get in there, and you're going to want to go over the bolts again equally. So, okay, well, let me get started on putting the header tubes in, and let's do that next. I got my crew chief. There's my 3-year-old Australian blue heeler. Super Cooper, the crew chief. So if you hear chewing or noises, that's because he's involved. Okay guys, this is number 2. This is the right hand side. Okay, I got a little dab on this, you see, and I put a little bit on the stock gasket up in there, and I already have the stock bolts prepped with the anti-seize. So we're just going to do this by hand to get started. I know I'm probably blocking the camera, but that's how it goes, right? Let me see if I can get this in here. There we go. Yeah, I'm just going to run this in by hand a little bit, and then we're going to use my ball end that you saw me take them out with, because it does get up in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run that up, just the one single bolt, just to kind of get it, at least the header pipe started into the board a little bit, but we don't want it tight, okay? So now, this one, you can't see this anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and get the left one in and get it started, and then we'll lightly snug that, okay? Alright guys, so this is my about a 6-inch extension with the slight ball in the end where it barely wiggles. Again with the 6mm shorter one. If you can buy a little bit shorter one, even, it'd be a good idea. But anyway, I was able to get this right in there. I know you can't see, but I was able to get it right in there with the bolt already on the Allen, and it's just a straight shot. Look, I'm straight right now without a universal ball in the end. And I'm just going to go in by hand. Just make sure the header pipe itself, the outer diameter of the spigot, it's called, is into the port, which it is. Okay? And what you want to do, see, we still got play here. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to snug those up. Okay? But I gotta have both hands. So you're gonna snug this up, okay? So basically it'll be snug, and we'll back it off a little bit so it barely swivels. Okay, let me do that. Okay guys, I went to the universal joint here. And I've got my little wobbly on the extension too, which you don't really need. But I was able to, that is the, which one was that, Kurt? The top one. Yeah, I was able to push the radiator up a little, just a tiny bit more by hand. And then you want to make sure, this is all backwards kitty wampus, that this is fully seated in the bolt, okay? Then you can go ahead and snug it down. But what you want to do is look behind the flange. Here I am. Oh God. Look behind the flange and snug him down so you got the air gap from the flange to the head surface where the threads are even. So, you know, the flanges are going to be cocked one way or the other, tight on one side, the other. So it's good with the stock gaskets. We still got about 1/8 of an inch. They're already compressed, so it should be fine. So you want to run them down evenly, look at the gap on each side, make the header pipe snug, and then maybe back it off like a half a turn or something so the header pipe will still, you know, move a little bit for putting the collector on. Okay guys, the outside one's super easy. I just started at maybe 1/4 inch. The inside one's a little harder. And the best thing to do is just put the bolt on here, and you can see up, whoops, here? Okay, put the bolt right on here, and then you can go up in there and you can get a light and lay it on here and you can see it really well, and you can start it by hand. Okay, then I'm just using this one. If my thing will work, with the slight swivel on it. Okay, and it's pretty much almost a straight shot. So again, you want the gap between the flange and the head equal on each one. Make sure this pivot's in there against the gasket. Okay, and for this, your little, got it? The ball end T gets right in there. You're not tightening too right now. Okay, so see, I'm going to back that off just enough. And you still may have to play with that when you're putting the collector on. But see right there, at least to kind of stay, and they'll both move. Okay, but real nice. Tons of room for the oil filter. That's never going to be a problem. All right, so that's that step for now. We're leaving the radiator where it is until we're completely done. So we're going to have to go over those bolts after we install the whole system. You want to kind of leave it like it is right now, or even a little backed off, maybe a teeny bit more to put the collector on. Anyway, let's get the camera on the other side. Let's try the fit of the collector. It's the next step. Okay guys, I took the original rubber mount clear off the bike that mounts right here. It is still utilized to mount the mid pipe. I have the pipe just slid on now. I'm going to show you actually putting it on in a minute. Kind of located the tubes right, but go ahead. If you remove this rear mount with the rubber bushing, reinstall it with the original 8mm bolt, 12mm socket, and put a little blue thread lock on it. This little lock, bent over lock, goes in the hole there. So go ahead and reinstall that and snug it down. There's a strange noise. Hey, Coop. He's a good boy. This is what you do when your bike's stuck on the dyno. You're 69 years old. You're on your frickin' knees. But I got my nice thick husky pad, so I'm okay. Anyway, so now what we're going to do is inside of here, very thin coat of my high temp. The hole this deep. Okay, I already did test fit, wiggle it on, put a little blue dot, just a dot where it bottomed, pulled it off to see how much engagement I'm getting just by wiggling it, and I'm about 3/4, and that's fine. Did a little test fit here, seems like we're going to be lined up okay. So let's go ahead and do this right now. Get this wonderful stuff on your fingers. Like I say, more is not necessarily better. And really, you don't really even have to do this. but this does two things. It will help a little bit on spitting condensation and water out when you first start the bike up after it's been sitting. And believe it or not, this silicone is really good. Valco. Yeah, Valco Cincinnati all-in-one. Black high temp. Find it on the internet and buy it. What it also does, it will keep a barrier between the tube, kind of like you put anti-seize on it, and it won't weld itself together. Okay? And it's just good stuff. I use it for this. This is like the perfect application right here. And like I say, not too much. Too much is just a mess. It's going to squish out. And you're still going to have to wipe some off a teeny bit. Anyway, so I got that. Again, goes on like this. This is capped. I went ahead and put the cap in there, blue Loctite, 17 millimeter box in. Box in. Tighten it. This one we're going to put the O2 in. So let's wiggle this on here. I moved the pipes already a little bit, so we're going to have to maybe fiddle around, but not much. See that? And that actually now gets more engagement. It made it a little bit slippery. So that's good. That's plenty good. Okay, we're not tightening the pipes yet. Remember, that's going to be last. We'll see. So here's your springs. We can't really film that, but I'll get the camera set up. All right, guys. If you don't have anything like this, the spring tool, buy one. They have them on Amazon cheap. Work fantastic for this stuff. I always used to make my own, but now they make them. Anyway, so obviously it's pretty simple. We're just going to put this on here, Give it a little pull. There's two of them. One from the pipe here, this pipe on the same one. Yeah, I may have to go over to the other side, maybe not, I don't know. I may have not enough leverage from this side. Let's see. No. Got it. Okay. There we go. Okay guys, well we got this on all the way, collector portion. Got this bolted back on, Loctited the bolt. And this is how the mid pipe goes in with this little bracket behind it. See it right there? So it still has to be pushed up to get in the slot there. Kurt, can you put it right in here? See that hole? Not that much, but we got this little wiggle room in the headers. This is close enough now. I think the best thing to do right now, because this isn't going to affect the back of the muffler, you're going to have to move that around no matter what you do. But now that we know this is fairly close of an alignment, we can definitely force it up no matter what we have to do. Now I think it's the best time to go ahead and tighten the flange bolts. Okay, so they're completely seated against the stock gaskets that we still have in there. All right, and we'll get that all buttoned up, and then you'll still be able to force this up a little bit. But that way, we're not putting this up and then trying to suck that in. Okay, but as long as you get to this part here, and this is all assembled, check the fitment here and it's close, you can still wiggle it. Even with it tight, you're going to be able to push this up. Okay, so let's go ahead and tighten up the flange bolts. I got to go on the other side to do that. All right, actually guys, I was able to get in here from the right hand side and use my ball end, if you got one long enough, and you want to equally, like a half turn here, a quarter turn, equally do them the same, little by little, so you're not getting the flange pulled all the way one direction or the other. And what you want to do is go back and forth on all four and snug those kind of as tight as you can by hand. Okay, then we'll put together the if we can, where am I? Right there. Then we'll put together the extension where possibly we can torque it. I know the feel I could do this all by hand and not use a torque wrench, but if we could get an extension on it to use a torque wrench, you would do the same thing. You have to go back and forth, and then you'd want to torque those bolts to probably right around 14 to 15 foot-pounds max is all you need. All right, guys, use the universal joint again. On the right hand one, I'm going to do this tube on this side of the bike, maybe both of them. Anyway, this bottom bolt, you don't need the universal joint. Almost a regular straight would work, but if you get one with a little wobbly on the end like this, which you can, get that. That works perfect on this one. Lightly snug them by hand evenly. Then just start out really light. Use a 3/8 drive, good quality torque wrench. Go to 10 or 11 foot-pounds, back and forth. But the inner one is more of a hassle, but it's not super hard. Once you get this, what you need to use, you can push up on this a little bit. You can get it in there. You push, see, I got it started on the flats. You push up on the radiator a little, fully seat it. See it go in? Hold it there nice and snug. I got this thing only set at 12 foot-pounds right now. And this isn't precision, right? So it's okay to use a 3/8 drive. Just hold it in nice and flush. So there's 12. So now that we got that one there, because we already did 12 on the other one, let's just go to 13, okay? Okay, now, get this off of there. Push the radiator back up a little bit. Pull it straight out. Now we can take the universal joint off, and we'll do this bottom one, just because it's not flopping around, it's a little easier. And this is a little more hassle, obviously, than if you have the radiator off, but not near as much hassle as changing all the coolant. And it's really not a big deal. So let's just say 13 foot-pounds, okay? That's plenty. 1250 project bike I helped build for the 20-year-old kid, Dakota Sasser. That's a test kit I did, 3 of them at the track, then handed him the bike, mentoring him. Anyway, on this side, I'm going to just snug it with the ball end. And this side only takes the little swivel with only the Allen bit, again 6 mil. So let's, I'll get down here. My buddy Kurt's going to get down here and try to film it. Hopefully you can see it. Oh, like I say, just a little at a time by hand. Make sure you don't strip the head of the bolt out. Okay, and just kind of get them where they're pretty snug by hand and even like I just did. Okay, now I'm going to go one more step. I'm going to use my ratchet and not overdo it. Just give it a little tweak. Make sure it's in there all the way in the bolt. And you watch, I'm going to do this and it's already going to be 13 foot-pounds. Okay, these are just snug and they're even. Make sure here, 12, 13. Okay, let's see what they are now. No, see? By hand, I'm close though. Make sure you get it in all the way. I got the extension all wrench on here, so it's a little awkward. See that? Make sure that sucker's seated like that. Okay, just give it a, don't torque it yet. Go one side, maybe 2 little clicks or quarter turn or less, then go back. It's like putting a cylinder head on. You got a crisscross pattern. You want that flange pulled nice and straight and on the threads. Again. And then back. Make sure it's seated. There we go. There's 13. Instantly, you're finally going to get that spigot flat against the gasket. There you go. Okay, that's 13. That's nice, you can actually get the torque wrench in here. Okay, that's where we're going to leave them for now. Alright guys, the next part is the mid pipe, I call it, or elbow pipe. So there's your swelled up end. Again, we're going to use, I already test fitted on here, and it slides on real nice. So we're going to go ahead with the high temp silicone in this joint. And you don't need to do the whole thing, but I would do at least the first inch all the way around with an even thin coat. I can't see what I'm doing. I'm behind the camera kind of looking at the, I got it on a tripod right now, so I'm not wiggling. Yeah, it's really hard. I know you couldn't see everything, putting the header bolts in and everything, but trying my best for you. Most people don't show any of that, you know. They just, here's the pipe, it's on. So, yeah, I think this is a neat video because until you get to this part here, pipes are going to mount differently, but at least it gives you the main idea of what you can do. And I thought that worked out really nice without taking the radiator off. It wasn't that hard. Little learning curve. Key to doing that kind of stuff is take your time, do not force it. Have a selection of extensions, wobblies, this, that, and then you get the method of what's going to work right without stripping anything or wrecking anything. Okay, so here's your mounting bolt. It comes with another one with the spacer, aluminum spacer. That's the one for the muffler. This one here with the cone and washer and nylock, that's what's going to bolt in here. Right here, this bracket. Actually, it goes on like that, and it goes on, see this? It goes on that, and this slides on the back surface of here. Okay, so now we got that. We're going to wipe any residual off the outside, and we're just going to wing this, and I can see what the hell I'm doing. Yeah, and we're going to, you don't want to fully seat it, okay, because you're limited right here. So look through the mounting hole right here and get the bolt started. And I'm just winging this now. I haven't tested or anything, okay? See? It's not bad. Yeah, it's going to be rotated. It'll pull itself in, kind of. Yeah, there's springs that go on here, but I can see that we can do that with the bolt on. So let's go ahead and get the flat washer and the nylock on the back side right here. Make sure I can see you, or you can see me. Oh, zoom in a little bit. There you go. Like I say, you can't see everything I'm doing, but I'm trying. I just thought this would be really cool to do for guys. And I like teaching people, and I thought this would be a real nice video to do for you guys. And you know, blah blah blah. So this might be a little bit of a challenge here. Let me I should have had my Allen already ready. Grab it, and then let me see. Yeah, this nut is a 13 millimeter, so I have a little 13 millimeter open end. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the lid off, push it out a little bit, and the washer's still on there. Have the threads just barely poking through, and you can get your fingers in there and barely push the bolt in. Check the nut first. Make sure it threads on real nice. If not, thread it on and off a couple times without getting into the nylock. Okay, so that's pretty sano. So what we're going to do now is we are going to snug this, but not tighten it all the way. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to snug it. Back it off about a half a turn, okay? That way we still got a little bit of wiggle room, okay? All right, so now you got two more of the springs with the rubber shield. And on these, kind of hard to do it that way. Probably it'd be better to go in towards the pipe maybe. And this, of course, is going to be a little bit more challenging, probably used because it swivels. Grab my small snap-on needle nose, smaller ones. Get in there, and we'll see which way works best. I think like that is going to be cleaner than pointing out. So let's try that, okay? Yeah, that looks better than this one hanging out and looking ugly. So towards the pipe on both. Okay, and then there's one also around the back side, so you're going to want to go on the other side of the bike and connect that one from underneath. All right, guys, let me show you something. Sorry, I'm going in front of the camera. So there's a bolt. Where am I? I hate doing this. There's a bolt, a lock nut, and a washer. Okay? The pin right here for your rear foot peg. We're going to take this cotter pin out, or this circlip out, pull the pin out. Then the bolt goes through the top of the foot peg, and it bolts this bracket on right here, just like that. Flush with the bottom of the bracket. Okay? With the washer and the nut inside here. So let me get that snap on there and bolt it down. Okay, guys, so it actually has a pin with a big circlip. So you can take a tiny little screwdriver. Oh, I cut my hand again. See? That's the one from yesterday. Like I said, if you're not bleeding, you're not working. Anyway, take a teeny little screwdriver, or two of them, or two little scribes, and you can pop that out. Just be careful, have your hand ready, because it could fly across the room. And then you want to lay this on a towel, pop it back in here so you don't lose it, put it with your stock bike parts. Make sure when you pull the pin out, on the head of the pin, I used a little small pair of channel locks or vice grips, and I held in on it because there's a ball with your spring in there. It could fly apart. It's not the end of the world, but it's a lot easier if you don't let it fly apart. And I was able to hold it in place. Pretty much shove the bolt in by hand and wiggle it, and then down here I had to kind of screw with it a little and pop it through. So now you've got the flat washer underneath. This is a 13mm socket, 6mm Allen driver bit on this side. Okay, and I just got it lightly snugged right now, so we got a little wiggle room. Probably you could light it straight and down and tighten it all the way, but mount the muffler first. Okay guys, I got the insulator in here. You just got to take your time. It's not hard, but you want this gap to be right. I took about a 1/2 inch off of it, but that doesn't mean that's going to be like your rubber. So you kind of have to eyeball it and then move it around a little bit. Get it close. But what's neat is you put it, say you're sitting in a chair, what you do is you peel it back about 3/4 of an inch and then go to the next step, peel it back and then put it on, peel it back, put it on. That works really slick. And then you want to kind of get it positioned at the get-go. You may have to take it off one more time, and I got the gap pretty good on both sides. So make sure that's fully in there, nice in the groove. And that's a very nice bracket and a good insulator. All right, so now here is your muffler snout clamp. Okay, gonna loosen the barrel up. Not gonna put it on the muffler, just go ahead, put the bolt to the bottom. Once we tighten it, I like rolling the bolt to the back so you don't see it very much. But right now we're just gonna get it down here and it's already on. You don't have to hassle with it or be in your way. Okay, I already put a light film of silicone past the slots right here in the muffler snout. We already fit the muffler and check fit it. It fits it beautiful earlier. So let's get the muffler on there. And you're going to have to wipe some of this off. It's still going to get on. And just kind of lightly seat the muffler. Get the muffler kind of straight up and down from the back view. Okay, and this might not, you still only have to tweak it anyway. I haven't fit this yet, so we'll see how good. This isn't tight all the way. So they supply the bolt with the spacer, flat washer, and nut. So the spacer goes on just like this. Okay? And then through the clamp. Put the clamp on now. Pull it apart. It won't hurt it, but better not. Just take the load off of it. Let's get it kind of close. And let me look real quick. Yes, this clamp goes on the outside. Here you go. Goes on the outside. There's the clamp. Both ears of the clamp. Spacer, bracket, flat washer, and nylock. Of course, you notice they make you take the whole radiator off. Dale Walker got away with doing it that way. All right, let's put the assembly together. Cone and bolt on the outside. Spacer between the ears of the bracket and the mounting bracket. Okay. And we're going to use my little ratchet. Just put a little load on it. Right. The washer, the finished side, see, that's not the finished side. The sharp side. The finished side goes externally. Okay. And then we got the nylock nut. You don't need to put any Loctite on it with the nylock. All right. Now we're going to double check this. It looks pretty parallel up and down. And yeah, we're looking pretty good. So let's, we'll go ahead and snug that up. Let me snug it up, look at it a little bit. Okay guys, well there it is. So I like rolling the clamp under a little bit. So when the bike's on the ground, you don't really see the head too much. And then the threaded part sticking out a little won't be seen. You have to kind of fiddle around with all this stuff. The muffler was kind of cocked like this a little bit. Just bike to bike, when they weld the tube up, the tube's going to pull a little bit in the jig. You know, it's not a CNC part. And this happens with every exhaust I've ever put on. So I snugged this one down tight. This is how the spacers go. And then when you tighten it, even their instructions, this is 2/2. Is hanging way over. It looks terrible. So that's not perfect, but it's close. You can barely see a little gap there, barely. And that's how it's got to be, like that, to fit right. So I got that completely tight. Got this tight. Got the mount back here all tightened up. So then what I did, the muffler was still cocked this way. After everything's on there, and this is all looking good, you can grab the muffler and just reef on it and just push it. And it will slightly bend the ears here. And now I have it looking pretty damn good. Still got enough clearance here. My fingers still fit in between the swing arm and the rubber. I don't think any way in hell, because the swing arm right at this point starts tapering inward. Okay, so still got plenty of clearance, should be fine. You want to keep an eye on it, but this is just the rubber right there if it did touch, but it's not going to touch. It's got a 1/4 inch or so, and as it comes up, it's sweeping into the narrower part. But stuff you got to check. So that's all tight. Back there, I'm going to clean the pipe off with a little bit of detailer polish, and then I'm going to put the heat shield on next. Then we're going to go ahead and put the O2 back in and wipe the whole thing down, and then I'm going to get this sticker off, but I'll just do that on my own. I'm going to have to get a heat gun, peel this very slowly. This one's stuck a little better, and you might have to use some goof off or goo gone very gently with the polishing cloth and get the goo off. But I was able to do it on the V-Strom. It looks so clean without it. So let's get the next step here and clean it off. Let's put the stuff together down here next. Okay guys, just make sure, like I said, wipe the whole pipe down thoroughly. You could use a brand new polishing cloth with a little bit of brake clean. Then you could go over it with some, like just some detail polish with another brand new cloth. You don't want fingerprints on it. It's still going to tarnish over time, but anyway. So now I'm dealing with the heat shield. And if you took these bolts out, make sure you use a little bit of blue thread lock. Harbor Freight thread lock works just as good as Loctite. So medium blue, fine. Little on these bolts, put them back in. Luckily I had one extra bolt from the stock shield here because they did end up cross-threading that front bolt. Now, you test fit the bolts in their standoffs first without the bracket. Run them all the way in and out a couple times. Make sure the threads are nice. In this case, the spacing is a little teeny bit too tight, like a 1/16 of an inch, so I had to get a round file with the bracket in my hand and use a round file on both of them and just barely kiss those to give it more clearance on the inside edges. Okay, then you want to put blue Loctite on both of those screws, the button heads that go on the bottom under here, and then you just want to snug them and just lightly snug them. That's all you need. Okay, so do that first. Next thing we're going to do is get the O2 back in. Okay guys, I just went over the whole pipe again. Looking pretty good. What I'm going to do is we're going to do the O2 next. I'm going to go ahead and push the radiator up just a little bit, put the bottom bolt in only. I'm going to leave the top tilted forward like that because I'm going to do my dyno pulls probably next week. My ECU should be coming back from two-wheel tuners maybe tomorrow or Monday. So I can't turn the key on, I can't start it for there's no ECU in the bike. I got the tie detail all done, got the wires, I shortened all the stock harnesses, make some of my own harnesses. I can't assemble it until I put the ECU on and start from the bottom up again. But that turned out pretty sano. The light was a pain in the ass. Their light one, they want the stock one that's terrible. So I made a little bracket and mounted one of my lights that I used to sell in a lot of my kits. Little Bike Master 3 LEDs right here. It's clean. Anyway, but the pipe, look at that. Okay, the best goof off is by far the best stuff. Goo Gone, no comparison to goof off. I bought a whole gallon, it'll last longer than me. Okay, let's get the O2 back in there. It's going to be unplugged, but I like to put it in instead of a plug. Makes it look stock. Again, use some anti-seize, just a little bit on the threads. Don't get near the O2 portion, the sensor. And get it started. Rotate the, we have the whole thing off, so rotate the cable with it. 17 millimeter. Stock gasket's fine, and just snug it like that. It's good. Now, originally I had a little nylon tie here. These are the nylon ties. I buy these on Amazon. This is Thomas and Betts. A lot of electricians use these. These are not cheapo ties like you buy down at an auto parts store or like the ones I got holding the radiator, but those are pretty strong too. These have the little metal tab in them. Spend the money. They're on $13 for a bag of 100 of 7-inch ones, maybe 15. Only use them for special stuff where you know you need the strength and you don't want it falling off. So let me see here. We're going to go ahead. For now, we're just going to stick the cable through here, and we're going to give it some slack. And this was, it's going to be in a different spot. Okay. See, it was here on the stock header, so we're just going to go something like right here. Let me get the nylon tie in there and let's see what looks the tightest way. You're not really going to see it that much. It's convenience of pulling it and what it looks like. Okay, yeah, maybe we'll do it this way. Let's see. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. It's not ideal, but let's do that. Kind of get it rotated where you think it's going to be. Slowly snug it down, just because no reason to waste a good nylon tie, you know what I mean? liking that. Around the front like that, guys. And then maybe on the bottom. Kind of like that. Yeah, that should look pretty good. Okay, snug it. It's not going to go anywhere. It doesn't. You don't have to tighten it till the wires are blowing through and kinking everything. I'd say that's pretty nice. Routed Sano. Pointing straight down. Now we're going to snip that sucker up flush. Yeah, that's clean. This is cleaner. Better than factory. Alright, well hopefully you can see me. Or see my hands or something. So we're going to go behind this one right here. Okay. And that's going to be good right there. I don't think you need to get carried away. Yeah, we're going to put probably another one right here. This one's held on already on the case here. But let's go ahead and put one more right here. And I'll kind of put it the same way the original is for the, appears to me like this one is the oil pressure warning sensor wire. So let's just kind of come up here under that, about an inch down, get it clean. Like that, it's hidden behind it real nice. Okay? It's going to live there. Just like that. And then up here, we're not plugging this in anymore. So let's just kind of hide this behind the original plug. And we will put, this is your radiator return hose overflow. So you don't want to go around that. So let's just go one more around both these wires right here. See right here? Hope my head's not in the way. Sorry guys, I'm not a professional videographer as you can see, but I try my best. Okay, get this done. That's pretty nice, pretty Sano. Good. Got to remember all this is covered when you put your side panels back on. Yeah, you can look at somebody else's video for taking off these panels. I took them all off to, you know, pull the bike down. And this doesn't have to do anything. We can just tuck that away. That's going to be all covered with your panel here anyway. Matter of fact, I might even put a little Tessa tape over this. That's a cloth tape that I love. Let me see, I have a roll right here. I'll show it to you. If I can get this right. Okay, see this? It's a cloth tape. These are wiring harnesses. But the one I like the best, if I can do this right, and it's not upside down, it's Tessa. See it right there? Don't buy the cheapo one. They have this on Amazon. It's Tessa, and it's part number 51036. Buy a couple rolls of this. I do all my harnesses with this. After I shrink tube it or run out of other shielding, you can wrap it real nice. It's just like a factory. Actually, some of the Suzuki stuff has it on there. So that's snug. That's put away. Okay, guys. Well, I think this about wraps up the complete system header install that would apply to the GSX-8S, 8R, and the new T or 8Ts or whatever they are, triple Ts. All this series of the Suzuki with the 800 motor in it. And anyway, I'm going to leave the radiator, like I said, still just pulled forward. I got the bottom bolt in it just lightly snugged so I can do my dyno pulls. Wish I could start it up now, but please subscribe, hit the bell. Please give me a thumbs up, comment below, even just a little comment. This is a lot of work making these videos. I have a tiny little channel. Anything helps, okay? And I do this just for you. I mean, I'm doing like mentoring stuff like that. It's not really to sell anything, okay? So, but anyway, I appreciate it. And we'll be back in a few days. Like I say, I can't start it up. But just stay tuned, because as soon as I get my ECU back, I haven't touched the bike. It's strapped down, identical, tire pressure, everything. and we'll get this thing running, and we'll see what it does now. So that'll probably be middle of next week, or maybe even Monday or Tuesday, I'm not sure. But anyway, you guys take care for now. I thank you for watching. God bless you all. You guys ride safe. We'll see you on the next video. Later.